This video is sponsored by PokemonStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCGO code cards. Whether you're looking for that last card to complete your online deck or just to get the latest booster packs in town, they literally have everything, and you can use the coupon code ZapDoesTCG for 5% off on your complete order. Then there's also Cardmarket.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day to get rid of cards that I don't need, to get the cards that I really need for competitive tournaments. Also, this video is sponsored by YourPlaymat.com. This is a website to create your own custom playmat. Ideal for the new season. Upload your favorite wallpaper or unique logo and they turn it into a beautiful playmat. You can get 10% off by clicking the link down below, and they ship worldwide, so definitely check it out. Last but certainly not least is DragonShield.com. There are links down below for Europe and US people all alike, and you're going to be able to, of course, buy sleeves, binders, and deck boxes, which, of course, Dragon Shield is the best brand out there to protect those beautiful cards. The sleeves are very good. As you can see, they shuffle really well, and I definitely recommend everybody getting a couple of these sleeves. Thanks for sticking around with the commercials, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace! Sup YouTube, it's ZapDoesTCG here, and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. The Peoria Regionals is coming in closer, and I'm actually want to be giving you the top 10 best decks in the Lost Origin format as of late. The date I'm recording this video is actually the 27th of September. We've already gotten like a couple of online tournaments in, even some leagues over at like Japan, like a 3000 tournament player tournament. It's crazy that we already got so many like things to base this top 10 upon, so hopefully you guys are excited. This is based upon statistics, so if your favorite deck is not included in here, don't blame me. I am just the messenger here, giving you guys the top 10 best performing decks in the Lost Origin format. If you guys are hyped for today's video, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of that like button. If anything, this list will change up for some specific reason here and there. Be sure to let your thoughts down below. Leave them down below in the comment section. Let's get a discussion started why your favorite deck might not be included in here. So to start this video off is, of course, on the number 10 spot, Zoroark VSTAR. I actually did a Zoroark VSTAR video on my channel, which was vastly different on this one. My version was actually way more consistent, but this version is stacking in the double Empoleon. We've come to see in this format that double Empoleon shuts down the Lost Zone engines. If you are not familiar with the Lost Zone engines, I'm here to keep you guys up to date. The Lost Zone engine is, of course, with Comfy, Chorus, and cards like Cramorant and Sableye, and these decks have been performing very well in online tournaments and even in Singapore regionals on top of the Japan Yokohama Nation League. So it was actually a very crazy tournament with 3000 players, and the Lost Zone decks were everywhere. So I do understand the double Empoleon here, allowing yourself to have some time against those pesky decks. We have Zoroark here. It actually has the Phantom Star. You can discard your entire hand, draw 7 cards. Very good, because that means you're going to be able to be consistent and find those double turbo energies. You don't always need a double turbo energy, since there's also a couple of Melanie in this list. We also have Diancie to throw up in the active position if you're not quite ready to attack with Zoroark. Zoroark can one-shot anything in the game right now because of Choice Belt and, of course, its attack, the Chicken Curse, slapping 50 damage for every one of your Pokemon with damage counters. So in theory, if you have all of them with damage counters, you have 300 damage output. With Choice Belt, that's 330. Insane damage output for sure. You have damage pump to move damage counters up to for 2 damage counters from one Pokemon to other Pokemon. So it's gonna help out with your damage numbers. You have Cheer and Scare, which is almost always alive because of the damage pump, and the Gave Job Bog is a very important stadium card. If you slap a basic down on the bench, you get 2 damage counters on yourself, which could also help to lower the HP of the opponent's Pokemon. Why is it only number 10? Well, this deck is, of course, not the most consistent deck out there. You might think, oh yeah, we have the Zoroark VSTAR's ability and research on top of that, but sometimes you do whiff out on that double turbo energy. I've seen it happen countless of times, and there's also the factor that you have a huge bench, which means that Palkia is just gonna slaughter you. Palkia is, of course, in a lot of top decks right now. We've seen Palkia with Kyurem, we've seen pure Palkia still performing well, so having bad matchups against those is not great. And also having the factoring that Giratina VSTAR with their Star Requiem can just one-shot and slap the 280 number with the Lost Blast or whatever it is, 280 flat damage attack. That drops it all the way down to the number 10 spot, but it's a very fun archetype for sure. If you're kind of new to the game, this could be interesting for you because you only need slap down Game Bug, slap all your Pokemon on the bench, and slap huge damage with the Zoroark VSTAR. A cool thing is that Gengar can also swap itself from the discard pile instantly onto your bench. Don't need Ghastly or Haunter for that one, just the ability by itself and put 3 damage counters on the Gengar in return. So it helps wonders in the deck like this. You also have Beamerel to draw some cards, and if you're up against pesky VMAXs that have, of course, a huge amount of HP or are utilizing Oricorio to protect himself, you can just use Radiant Hawlucha to, of course, get the numbers. Also helps out Miracles against stuff like Kyurem VMAX. So Zoroark VSTAR is a 2-price Pokemon, which is super nice. So try this list out, it's super fun, and you have the double Empoleon against Regis and, of course, the Lost Zone boxes. Moving forward, number 9, going to Intel. AI is still alive and kicking, and we've come, of course, to see this I think it was the top 4 list of the Limitless Showdown. So a very cool list here. Radiant Gardevoir. Oh yeah, we see some more Radiants popping up in decks here and there besides the Greninja. So the Gardevoir allows you to take 20 less damage from V Pokemon. So yeah, all your V Pokemon are actually, you're taking 20 less damage from V Pokemon is super crucial because with Big Charm, Arceus VSTAR has 310 HP. With the Lake Equity, if you have a water energy attached to one of your Pokemon, you're actually taking 20 less damage and reduction. So on top of Radiant Gardevoir, you're actually going to turn yourself into a 350 HP Madness Pokemon, and you can loop Cheren Scare. Cheren Scare is fantastic since there's 2 copies of Palpat in here and the double Cheren Scare. Very, very awesome to just loop. You also have the pure damage output power with the Starmie V. Could help out against specific archetypes, more in particular stuff like Kyurem VMAX. If they're not careful with their damage, or actually with their energy spread, you can come out of nowhere with a Starmie, and you can also reutilize that with Ordinary Rod because of the energy spiral attack. You're slapping 50 damage for every energy in play. Could also work out against Arceus boxes in the mirror, so I like this Starmie tech card, and also we have the big Parasol to protect yourself from Star Requiem, so you're not instantly one-shotted by a Giratina VSTAR. So you might think, oh, 350 HP, Giratina just blast through you. Well, with the big Parasol, we just say no. Instead of running 2 big charms, we have 1 big charm and 1 big Parasol. And also the Choice Belt, because Choice Belt can also help out with numbers, as mentioned. If you're able to use Trinity Nova for 230 damage, that could also work miracles. Only 1 Bossasaurus, but you do have double Palpat if you want to gust a little bit more, and Oranguru to protect yourself from pesky Marnies, because you're still an Inteleon build. And I don't know if you've noticed, but this Inteleon build is actually running the 70 HP Sobbles. There's only 3 copies in here. Sometimes you might think like, I cannot use Keep Calling, but in most instances, if you have to Keep Calling, you're already behind. So that's why we're running 70 HP Sobbles in this list, and also to protect yourself from these crazy Sableyes that sometimes can swing as soon as the second turn, because they're burning through the deck very quickly with the Comfies and the Chorus and the Scoop Up Nets and the Escape Ropes and the Switch cards and all that. So they can spread 12 damage counters, and that actually equals out to 2 Sobbles. That's something you definitely don't want in this current metagame. So Intel, I wonder if we will see a resurgence at the Peoria Regionals. Moving forward, number 8. Flying Pikachu VMAX is still a threat. This time around, Arceus gains a new buddy in the form of Giratina VSTAR. Giratina VSTAR is the one-shot Pokemon you actually were lacking in this deck. People sometimes were teching and slacking V, but you don't need that. You're going to be going for the Giratina here. You have a little bit of different energies. Well, it doesn't matter because Arceus VSTAR does require cardless energies, so you can go with that. Also, Flying Pikachu VMAX only requires 1 lightning energy. Flying Pikachu VMAX, of course, super useful against the Palkia VSTARs that are still dominating online tournaments here and there. And then there's the Giratina VSTAR. If you can get that up against a VSTAR matchup, you also have the Choice Belt, by the way, to hit the 310. You're actually going to be able to perform miracles. Marnie Pat still dominant as ever. All of these Lost Stone boxes are, of course, stacking cards in their hand until they have like 12, 13 cards. So with the high amount of Marnie, this is a deck that has the highest amount of Marnies available, and it performs it well. So Marnie Pad, still a win condition. You have Big Barrel to draw cards. This is basically like the world's winning list, but we've added in Giratina VSTAR, and the Giratina VSTAR will help out miracles. You also can, of course, use Shred against random mill tanks if those are still a thing. So the deck is balanced out. You have Pumpkaboo to get rid of the stadium, and Zigzagoon Choice Belt is super great in this format. If you are up against any Giratina, Arceus, Palkia build, you can just Choice Belt, Zigzag, Boss, KO. And there's 3 Boss in here, so that works out. Miracles, also a capture energy to get, of course, your setup going. So I like this list. This is Arc Flying Pika with Giratina, and definitely try it out. This is the number 8 pick for me. Number 7. Goodra VSTAR. Joe Bernard from Omnipoke put this on the map, and it's actually performing quite well. Goodra VSTAR, I actually put it in tier 3 Maybe I was a little bit harsh on this card, but that's the reason for me putting this in tier 3 personally was the high amount of cross switchers, the high amount of escape ropes, and that meant like if you use rolling tackle and they rope boss you, you're still knocked out. So that was my biggest concern. I know this list is running one Fantina and a Palkia, so technically you could be utilizing the more defensive build. But on the other hand, that's in the late game, so that's why I was not too big of a fan. Also, Palkia VSTAR is running Echoing Horn. Mew VMAX sometimes is running Echoing Horn, like most of the time, let's be honest. So that's why my biggest concern. But Goodra VSTAR performing well, and the reason for that is you're doing well against probably Regis. You're doing well against Lost Zone boxes that are just focused on one prize Pokemon. You're just a tank, and the Moisture Star ability allows you to heal yourself up completely, swinging the price trade in your favor. You have a Radiant Greninja, lots of water energies in this list, so that could be a win out with the Moonlight Shuriken, punishing down on like double Subbles, or you can punish down something like double Comfy. So super crazy card. Radiant Greninja is gonna be a very offensive threat, so get your Manaphy's while they're fresh, or you're gonna get sniped. Besides that, you also of course use the, if you are not familiar with the Lost Zone engine, let me explain it in this specific case. You use the flower selecting of Comfy, getting one card of the hand, one to the Lost Zone. Your goal is to get 7 cards in the Lost Zone to activate the Mirage Gate. You can use multiple Comfys in a turn because of Scoop Up Net, Switch, Escape Rope, etc. And as soon as there's 7 cards in the Lost Zone, you're going to be able to use Mirage Gate, accelerating 2 different types of basic energies to your Pokemon in any way that you like. Very easy to pull off. You have 4 Battle VIP Pass to start off with. You have ropes, switch, air balloon, even scoop up nets. So you're circling around your good friends Comfys. On top of that, you also have Radiant Greninja to draw a card. So the deck draws itself, and you also have Colorless Experiment to help out by putting these cards in the Lost Zone. You can select 2 of them to go to the Lost Zone and 3 to the hand. So it accelerates the process of getting these in the Lost Zone. And if you have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, Fantina can give you 120 buff. The opponent takes, actually you take 120 less damage from the opponent's V Pokemon, so that could be pretty tanky, right? The Goodra on top of that has the Rolling Iron. Any damage done to the Goodra during the next turn is reduced by 80. So very, very defensive deck. Reminds me a little bit of the Rollodon VMAX. Sometimes it crumbles here and there. But if you can get it working, it's going to be performing miracles. So Goodra here sliding in on the number 7 spot. Number 6, going to the Regis. I'm a huge Regi lover. If you haven't noticed, I already got like all of my CP for this season. At this point, I have 140 CP with Regis alone. So have a little bit of bias with Regi. I don't know if it's that well positioned right now, and let's be perfectly honest, there is a couple of Empoleons. Lots of lists are getting, of course, the hype with a double Empoleon. It depends on how popular Empoleon is. I actually personally want to crack this list up to even play 3 copies of Path to the Peak. I know I've actually I was putting escape ropes in the Regi list and made that a little bit popular, but you probably need Path more than rope because of the double Empoleon clause. This list is, of course, respecting Mew VMAX by getting 2 Twin Energies in here, so you can find it more easily on top of 2 Energy Lotto. This will ensure you can find those Twin Energies as quickly as possible, so you can swing with the Gigaton break of the Regigigas. Your main goal is simple. You, of course, assemble all the Regis. If you have all of them in play, you can accelerate with Ancient Wisdom, accelerating 3 energies from the discard pile to any Regi of your choice. So you're going to be able to accelerate to Regigigas to slap Palkia VSTAR, definitely with the Choice Belt. It's a one-hit KO. You're going to be able to use Regigigas with a Choice Belt to knock out Mew VMAX, which is great. Regidraco can 2-shot any VMAX, or with the Choice Belt can sometimes hunt down Luminion or Crobats on the bench. There's also Regirock being able to slap huge damage against Arceus VSTAR, which helps out. So all of these have a little bit of a purpose. Registeel also can slap Mew VMAX or Flying Pikachu V if they have not evolved quite yet, because they have a 0 retreat cost. So all of these Regis have a purpose. A Regis also with Blizzard Bind could help to slow Vs down on top of Marnie. This list is running 3 Marnie. I'm definitely okay with that. Definitely, like, this is very similar to my top 8 list of Bilbao, except they're running more pads. I personally would even crack it up to 3 pads, but depends on how many people will actually get the Penguin hype, because I've seen some Lost Zone boxes with Canceling Cologne, I've seen some Lost Zone boxes with Path to the Peak. It all depends on what you come across. But if you want to be safeguarding yourself against any Empoleon V or double Empoleon V, I might add in, of course, the Path to the Peaks, which will help out. A very consistent build. I like this list. If you're a great Regi player and you know what you're doing, you're going to be able to, of course, do well. You need to get those Aurora energies in the discard pile, and I like the way that there's 2 energy Lottos in here on top of 3 tracking shoes, so you're actually doing miracles with a list like this. Alright, we had 10, 9, 8, 7, let's see here, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and out number 5. We're entering the top 5 here. is going to be the Lost Zone box. Very popular over in Japan, but also if we look at this specific deck, it is the most popular deck on the Play.Limitless TCG website as of late. I just put it as the number 5 deck because you can slide in Zeraora in here, you can slide in Cramorant V for specific matchups. There's a lot of things you could do with the Lost Zone box, but let's just put it at the number 5 slot because we still have no idea how this works. Also, the Serena in the list is not available quite yet. Flip-flop that with a boss's orders. Just so you know, because this is a very well-performing list from Japan, and the only card that we are missing out on is the Serena, which is actually draw cards. They have 5, or Balsasaurus. You can choose either effect, but just add in a Balsasaurus in here and you should be perfectly fine in my opinion. So what you're aiming with this list is utilizing Comfy, as mentioned again with the loop, with Scoop Up Net, Escape Rope, Switch cards as well. So you're going to be able to, of course, get a lot of cards in the Lost Zone. You need 10 or more because you're going to be able to use Sableye. Sableye with Lost Mine spreads 12 damage counters wherever you feel like on the opponent's side of the field. It is not blocked by Manaphy in any sort of reason, so it's going to be fantastic for you to spread damage all across the opponent's field, and then to finish off with the Radiant Charizard. Radiant Charizard only requires 1 fire energy if the opponent has already taken 4 prize cards, so in the late game, when the damage has been spread around perfectly, Charizard can take your last couple of prize cards. On top of that, you have Galarian, Zigzagoon, and of course a high amount of Scoop Up Net to help out with the Sableye. So even if they are playing 70 HP Sobbles, you can still do some nasty tricks with, of course, the Lost Mine. Cramorant can also attack if you have 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone, which actually happens almost every single game going, if you like, go second, you can do it on your first turn, split damage with the Spit Innocently, slapping 110 damage already. There's Clara to get your Radiant Charizard back, or maybe other puzzle pieces, and there's 2 Manaphy in here, because one of your main loss conditions against multiple prize Pokemon is that they overutilize Radiant Greninja and snipe all your Comfy, so having 2 Manaphy is here, just to make sure that they are, of course, not prized. There's a Lost Vacuum and 3 Pokestops, helping out with the condition to just get as many cards in the Lost Zone so you can spread with Lost Mine. Love this deck a lot. If you can pilot it well, you're probably going to be doing well because Charizard is busted and Sableye as well. Number 4 is going to be Kyurem VMAX. Seems to be very popular on the online scene as well. Is it better than Palkia Inteleon? No, but it is definitely a threat in the metagame. And the reason for that is that this list is also running double Empoleon. Empoleon with the Emperor's Eyes shuts down all the abilities from non-rule box basics, which means you can shut down Comfy, you can shut down Oranguru, you can shut down Regigigas, so there's a lot of Pokemon you can shut down in the format right now, and double Empoleon is a win condition. I've seen it happening. I was actually playing the team challenge just the other day, playing my good old Regis, but I actually got wrecked by double Empoleon, so I don't know if it's like a hype or anything, but Empoleon does the same thing against Lost Zone boxes as well. If you're seeing Giratina, if you're seeing Lost Zone box with Sableye, just set those double Empoleons up and you should be good and having enough time to win the game. You have double VIP Pass, 3 Quick Balls, and double Ultra Ball to set your board wide. This is not running Bibarel or Oranguru, so it's a little bit weak against stuff like Roxanne and Pat to the Peak. But it doesn't matter when you have your board position set up, right? As soon as you have a Kyurem VMAX with a lot of energies, you're going to be able to one-hit KO with the Max Frost attack, slapping 120 damage, plus 50 more for every energy you're willing to discard from Kyurem VMAX. You can set it up with the Glaciated World ability. Once during your turn, you can discard the top card of your deck. If it's a water energy, you can accelerate it to one of your Pokemon. Helps out to, of course, attack with Moonlight, Shuriken, Radiant Greninja as well, but could also help out to, of course, accelerate to other Pokemon like Empoleon V. You're using the Palkia VSTAR ability with Star Portal. If your energies are all in the discard pile, don't care about that. You can just use Star Portal and flex the energies onto your field to just attack again with Kyurem VMAX. So the ability goes hand in hand with Primed Wisdom and also with the Rotom Phone. So you're basically, your draw engine is Oranguru, Primed Wisdom, swapping a card with swapping the top card of your deck with the card that you have in hand. So you can swap whatever you feel like with Oranguru. Most of the time it will be a water energy. So you're going to be able to utilize the Glaciated World. On top of that, Rotom Phone could also help out. You can draw it out instantly with Oranguru. Let's say Rotom Phone, put Irida on top, use Oranguru, get the Irida, play the Irida. Lots of things capable with this list. There's only 2 Training Court in here, but there is a Lost Vacuum. I'm a little bit afraid of like Marnie Pat with a deck like this because you have Glaciated World, you have concealed cards, your other emergency draw engine is Crobat V with the Dark Acid, and you also have Empoleon V with an ability and the Palkia VSTAR. So tons of abilities with this deck, a little bit weak to Pat, but it's very strong, and the damage output is actually endless. You can use Max Frost, there's no damage cap, you can one-shot anything in the game, you have a 3-prizer weak to Metal, you have a 2-prizer weak to Lightning, and you can sometimes attack with Radiant Greninja as a 1-prizer. So all around, this deck is very well established and should be performing well at your upcoming regionals. Number 3, we're entering the top 3 right now, folks. It is Mew VMAX. This is the fusion-less energy build, so the DTE build, because this has been performing ever since Michael Pramwa did well in London with it. So we do see that people have left alone their Meloettas, even though I still personally believe that Meloetta is also a very great pick, because if you are just playing Mew VMAX and the field is full of Drapion, you're just getting slapped all around. With if you're playing the Meloetta build, you're actually having a safeguard against stuff like the Drapion, for instance. But if this deck goes first, ladies and gentlemen, it rocks like hell. The things you could do with this deck is endless. Let's say you use Avery, then you use Echoing Horn, and then you use Cross Switcher, so you can get prizes out of nowhere with a deck like this. You can use Roxanne, Cross Switcher, and do some stuff. You might think, why is there a Path to the Peak in this Mew build? Well, let me say this. If you use Cramorant, get your Path to the Peak and Roxanne combo, because that will win games. A Mew can also Path to the Peak to just make sure that Drapion is not a threat. So you take a KO, you slap down Path to the Peak, and that means that if they want to come with Drapion, they need to bump the stadium as well. And if you Roxanne them at the correct time as well, you're gonna be golden. This deck, of course, has a lot of items, so Pokestop is almost life, almost half. You can draw Power Tablets with Pokestop, you can draw your Cramorant, you can get Ultra Balls, Quick Balls, and then draw further with the Fusion Strike system. Mew VMAX is as good as ever, as I predicted in my tier list. If you have not checked out my tier list from like last month, it's almost spot on, except for maybe the Goodra part. I should bump that up to tier 2, but all the rest is already good. What do we also see in this list is, of course, that it is running the Avery, helps out Miracles against stuff like the Regis. You can use Avery and Lost City to just crumble that deck, or you could use like the Avery against Palkia deck, so they're not having the one-hit KO potential. So very, very cool things to see. What else is in here is the Silene. Silene and Palpat allows you to actually loop if all goes well. You can just Silene, Palpat, get the Palpat, get back Roxanne, get some bosses back. So we've seen the loop here with the control deck. Control decks nowhere to be found in this top 10 because online people don't like to play it, but I expect some people to come up with something funky like Sander Wojcik, for instance. So yeah, Mew VMAX, very, very consistent deck, and is dominating when it goes first. Stadium split wise, you have Pokestop, Pat, and Lost City. Maybe you can flip that up between here and there, but the list looks solid, and it has been performing very, very well. Then the top 2, are you guys ready? Number 2, Giratina VSTAR in its purest form in the Lost Engine deck. So this list is probably the one that won in Japan, or yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this actually won Japan. So if I'm actually just checking it out, if I'm don't quote me on this, but it's a very successful Japanese list. So we have Giratina VSTAR with the Lost Impact. That was the attack name, slapping 280 flat. Super easy to utilize because with Mirage Gate, as we've come to know, we can accelerate 2 different basic energies from the deck instantly to our Pokemon. We, of course, are able to use Star Requiem as well. If you have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you can instantly evaporate and one-hit KO any Pokemon in the active slot. So that means wherever you're up against like an Arceus with like Big Charm and stuff, instantly evaporate it unless they have Big Parasol. But even if they have Big Parasol, you have Tool Jammer. So you're actually one step ahead, and you also have Cramorant. Very easy to start attacking with Cramorant as soon as your first turn going second, and you also have the Lost Mine to spread damage counters in the late game, or just set up some KOs here and there. Like let's say you use the 280 and they have the Big Charm. Things you could do is like you spread damage in the late game to still get all your KOs with Sableye. You can of course recover some of your attackers with the form of Ordinary Rod, and there's 3 water energies in here, which is very funky because you can actually attack with Luminion to slap 120 damage and then get yourself back in the deck. So you can Luminion, Boss, and then, or actually Luminion, Roxanne, Mirage Gate, get yourself back in the deck. So you actually find Roxanne while getting the 2-prize liability in the deck again. Other inclusions for this deck could be Torton. If you're afraid of like starting with Giratina and all that, you can maybe lower down 1 Giratina V and add in Torton, which could help to transform into a Giratina from the discard pile instantly. Very cool to utilize that if you want to. This list is actually performing very well in my testing. I maybe want to add in another Ordinary Rod because Ordinary Rod and Mirage Gate go hand in hand, and that also allows you to recover Sableye a little bit more oftenly. This also has Oranguru to protect yourself against nasty Marnies, because as mentioned, these Lost Zone decks have huge hand sizes, and that, Marnie is a little bit of a weakness for a deck like this, so Oranguru can protect you against that, cannot protect you against Roxanne, but yeah, at that point, you're already halfway through the game already. What else is in this list? Of course, some Scoop Up Net Switches and Air Balloon, so you can get, of course, those cards with Lost Zone with the Flower Selecting Comfy, and just Colorless Experiment Boss. That's the only thing you need, because Giratina's power is all you need. 280, Boss, 280, Star Requiem, you win the game. So against multiple prize Pokemon, you're going to be performing outstandingly. So, cool deck, second place in my top 10 ranking, and now number 1 is Palkia Inteleon. What a surprise. This deck is still performing miracles. It is consistent. We know the deck works. We know what it's capable of. This time around, the deck has opted to go for more Inteleons. The reason for that is Sableye is seemingly everywhere. So as soon as you evolve all of your Drizzles into Inteleon, you're a little bit safer against the damage spread of the 12 damage counter spread. So that's why we're running some more Inteleon. We also have Radiant Greninja again to just take some KOs on Comfies. Palkia is strong. We've seen it working out. Echoing Horn, Choice Belt. There are capabilities here. If you still want to go over the edge, you can try to tack in something like the Leon. This is also running Rare Candy, so with the high amount of Inteleon, you're gonna be able to have like Shady Dealings Inteleon out as soon as your actually your second turn. So Iridoff finds yourself Rare Candy and Inteleon, and then off you go to the races. You can go Star Portal, instantly attack with Palkia VSTAR. You have some interesting stadium splits. You have Pat, Training Court, as well as Temple of Sinnoh. Temple of Sinnoh can help out against the Regis a little bit. If they cannot bump the Temple, you're going to be in a great position, but also could help out against other decks utilizing special energies, for instance, Arceus Inteleon, which uses the DTE, or other decks that run on special energies. Also, a fun fact, if you have the Temple of Sinnoh in play early on, captured energies no longer do their thing, which also is very hilarious. What else do we have here? Just the classic Palkia Intel, not a lot of new cards, actually no new cards from Lost Origin in here, but it's still performing well. You can cherry pick a Roxanne with the Shady Dealings, and you have, of course, access to stuff like Raihan. You can Star Portal. The Shady Dealings Inteleon can actually become a viable attacker, and as you run 2 of them, those can be your 2-1 prizers that you want to be utilizing, and the stuff like, for instance, the Aqua Bullet on top of something like a Moonlight Shuriken or Quick Shooting can actually get additional prize cards here and there. Yeah, Palkia Intel still doing very great. You have cross switchers, and you can, with Iridoff, find anything in the deck. Don't get 2 items though. Anyhow, this Palkia Inteleon is my number 1 pick here. So that's the top 10 list of the best decks in the Lost Origin format. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. It helps out in many ways. I always am super grateful if you would do so, and of course subscribe so you can see more content, right? I wonder what will win Peoria Regionals. If you're going, good luck to everybody. It's gonna be the biggest regionals of the year probably. It's over 1,000 masters already, so I'm very curious to see those results to focus on my own tournament, Lille, in a couple of weeks. Anyhow, have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. Hopefully you'll find these deck lists a little bit useful, so you can test out which deck is your favorite. Let me know in the comments below, and also go check out our sponsors, BoTownStore.com, the best place for TCGO code cards. You can use the coupon code ZapdosTCG for 5% off your order. There is cardmarket.com for European players. You can utilize the referral name ZapdosTCG. There's Dragon Shield to get sleeves and deck boxes and binders. There's links down below for people from US and Europeans all alike. And there's also PoTown. I mentioned PoTown already, but they will have, of course, the new promo cards that will come out very shortly, like the Zacian VSTAR and all that. That's coming out. You will see it over at PoTown if you want to be playing online. And last but not least is yourplaymat.com to create your own custom playmat from scratch. They ship worldwide. Create a fantastic playmat with your own logo or your favorite wallpaper, and they turn it into a beautiful playmat. Ship it to your door worldwide, and of course you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. Anyhow, have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG madness. I'm out. Peace.